好，我是梁彩玲，欢迎大家收看我们英文检定2第13讲的节目。今天的题目叫 Footprints， 足迹也是脚印的意思。首先我们看一下课程重点。今天我们在这课里面呢，同学们会学習到如何描述身陷困境的时候各種各樣的說法。好，接着我們來看今天的 Be English。Be English. Lisa carried calls to Newcastle. A. Lisa 把煤运到纽卡斯去了。B. Lisa 多此一举。好，接下来我们要来做今天的练习。那在做练习之前呢，我们先听 Dr. Culture 为我们做 Introduction.
Hi, I'm Dr. Culture. Dreams. There have been many books written about dreams and why we have them. Psychologists even analyze dreams, trying to help us understand ourselves. Is there some learning experience there? Or are our minds just working overtime? The latest theory I've heard is that our dreams are all about ourselves, even though other people may be in our dreams. And that could certainly be true, because I can't remember having a dream that wasn't in English. Doctors tell us that dreams sometimes occur while deep in sleep, but it doesn't always mean that we've gotten a good night's rest. But better to dream than have nightmares. You won't get a good night's rest that way. How many of us have gone to sleep at night hoping we would dream about something wonderful? Maybe that nice long vacation you've always wanted, walking on the beach on an island somewhere maybe, or walking along the streets of Paris or some other international city. Maybe there's a dream job or that person you always wanted to meet. How about being on the set of your favorite film or TV show? As a kid growing up in the States, I can remember going to sleep nights before Christmas and dreaming about all the toys I wanted to get. It was one of those rare times when a child was told that they could wish for anything they wanted. You were only limited by your imagination and possibly your parents' checkbook. I would dream about everything that would happen on Christmas morning and how wonderful it would be. The stockings would be filled with all kinds of treats and toys I had never seen before. There would be so many gifts under the tree that they would have to be stacked on top of each other or placed against the walls for lack of room. I would run into the living room, and there would be so many presents that they would fall on top of me as I tried to leave to wake everyone up. Christmas would finally come, and of course, it wasn't quite the same, but still great. Well, the story that we just looked at begins with a dream. In fact, it's a story that I can remember hearing about when I was a kid. I can still remember seeing the words etched on plaques hanging in gift shops back in the States. It's a reminder to us that we're never really alone as long as we have our faith, our beliefs. It's interesting that the story is actually a dream. Was the person who dreamt it lonely? Was it this person very old or very young? I think if someone was looking back at his life, he was either in his middle ages or older. One night a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scenes of his life flashed before him, he looked back at his footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, My precious, precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. One night a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scenes of his life flashed before him, he looked back at his footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, My precious, precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you.
OK， 对完了答案，同学们答对几题呢？如果你全对了，恭喜你。那接下来听老师解释一下。第一句是 One night a man had a dream。OK， 有一天有一个人做了一个梦。你做了一个梦要怎么讲呢？做了一个梦，不是 I made a dream， 是叫 I had a dream。那现在不是 I， 是有一个人，那你就 A man had a dream。记住，做了一个梦，通常它都是用 had。因为已经做过了嘛，你才知道你做了一个梦，对不对？所以就是英文就是这么简单，做了一个梦。但是请你不要说 made a dream， 因为做的英文是叫 made，OK？ 要记住是有一个梦 ，had a dream。好，下一题 ，He dreamed that he was walking along the beach with the Lord。他梦见了什么呢？好，记住哦，他梦的那个内容你要用过去进行式。He dreamed that， 这里是 that 省略掉了。他梦见他正在跟上帝沿着沙滩在散步。OK，He was walking along the beach。Along， 同学们注意一下，这里的 along 念起来很像一个字，叫 A-L-O-N-E。那个 along 是单独孤独的，这里的 along 是沿着什么走。OK， 你如果说我沿着河走，怎么说 ？I walked along the river。那我沿着那个公园这样散步，沿着那个公园走 ，I walked along the park。OK， 那这里是沿着什么走？沙滩，沙滩叫 beach， 请注意它的发音，它是长音。OK， 那跟谁走 ？With the Lord，the Lord 指的就是 God。OK， 上帝，他梦见了他在沙滩跟上帝散步。好，我们先休息一下，待会儿再回来。好，那发生什么事情呢？我们看一下下一句 ：Across the sky flashed scenes from his life。OK， 这句里面有两个我们的答案，第一个叫 flashed。Flash 同学们学过对不对？那个你的电脑上面，这个我用 Flash 做的，有些动画我用 Flash。同学们常常在讲那个 Flash 是当名词用，但是在这里呢是当动词，所以加了 ed 就是快闪。OK，Across the sky flashed， 闪过什么东西？第二题的答案叫 scenes，S-C-E-N-E-S。scenes 这个字，请同学们注意它的发音，那个 c 是不发音的。OK， 不要念成 skenes， 很多同学看到这个字就傻眼。好，这个字特别注意它的发音，所以它就不难咯，是 scenes。scene 就是一幕 ，scene 1、scene 2， 你在演戏的时候会有好几幕，对不对 ？scene 1、scene 2，第几幕第几幕 ？OK， 那个 scene 那个场景，一场一场那个场景 scenes， 那这里是加 s 的，因为你一生当中会发生很多很多的场景。快闪过他这一生所发生过的每一个场景 ，OK，flashed scenes from his life。OK， 接下来呢，他说 for each scene， 每一幕当中 ，he noticed， 他注意到了，所以第三题的答案叫 noticed。noticed 就是注意 ，OK， 注意到了，注意到什么呢？有两副脚印。 两副脚印英文怎么说？ Two sets of footprints. 留在哪里的脚印？ In the sand. 在沙滩上留下两个人的脚印。OK， 所以我们第三题的答案是 noticed。要注意 noticed， 它后面有一个 t 的音，就是它是过去式 notice， 后面加上 d 之后，它是念 t。noticed two sets of footprints。这个字同学们要注意一下 ，t 很多同学不会念这个t 后面加 s 的发音，通常会念成 footprints， 这样子就是中式英文。好，那你要念漂亮的英文呢 ，t 和 s 在一起就念 ts， 所以就是 footprints， 不要念成 footprints， 这样知道吗 ？t s 在一起就变成 ts， 所以这个字请注意一下发音哈，叫 footprints in the sand。One belonging to him and the other to the Lord。 有两个人的脚印，那是谁呢？那他说 one belonging to him。 好，我们第五题的答案叫 belonging， belong 就是属于谁， one belonging to him， 记住 belong 属于谁，它是一个不及物动词，后面要加 to， 就像听音乐 listen to music， belong to someone 都要加 to， 但是中文里面我们没有这样的概念，所以常常同学说我喜欢听音乐，就会说 I like to listen music， listen to music。OK， 它是一个不及物动词，就像属于谁 belong to someone， 所以他这里说 one belonging to him， 好，一副是他自己的 and the other to the Lord。 后面这句呢是省略掉 belonging， 因为 and the other belonging to the Lord 一样的东西，我们在写作的时候就把它省略掉。好，接下来我们来看发生了什么事情。接下来他说 When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand。 当他人生当中的最后一幕闪过他面前的时候， he looked back at the footprints in the sand。 他回头一看沙滩上的，他再回头看沙滩上留下的脚印。 He noticed that many times along the path of his life， 他注意到了，注意到什么呢？很多次在他人生的旅途当中，有很多次很多次什么呢？ There was only one set of footprints， 却只有一个人的脚印。 There was only one set。 He also noticed that， 他还注意到这一对脚印只有一个人的脚印是发生在什么时候呢？ He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life。 好，第六题的答案是 saddest， 请同学们注意一下，最悲哀的时候，最悲伤的时候，还是最高级，请重复一个 D S A D D E S T。 他说当出现一个人的脚印是什么时候呢？就是他人生的最低潮 the very lowest， 而且是最悲伤的时候 and saddest times， 这个 times 是加 s 的 OK in his life。 This really bothered him。 好，第七题的答案是 bother， bother 就是让他很困扰。请同学们注意一下这个字，老师让同学们念这段课文的时候，有很多人念成 brother， 它跟 brother 差一个 r， brother 是 B-R-O-T-H-E-R， brother 是不能当动词用的，是哥哥弟弟兄弟，但是这里是动词，是 bother 困扰，让什么人造成什么困扰。 OK， this really bothered 它是当动词，所以就 ed， this really bothered him 这个让他很困扰。 and he questioned the Lord about it， 所以他就对上帝提出了问题，提出了他的疑问。第八题的答案是 questioned。 本来 question 是名词，对不对？同学们常常问的Do you have a question? I have a question。但是这里你看 question 加 ed 了，表示它不是名词咯，它是什么词？它是动词。对什么提出质疑？ He questioned the Lord about it。OK， it 就是指前面这件事情，为什么在我人生最低潮的时候只有一个人的脚印？ Lord， 他就说了 You say that once I decided to follow you， 上帝啊，你说了只要 once 就是只要我决定跟随你 follow。OK， follow 是跟随什么人？ You'd walk with me all the way， 这里的是 you would， 你会 OK， 你会跟我 一路一直走到底 ，all the way 就是从头到尾，你会陪我走。But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life， 但是我注意到了，在我人生最困难的时候 ，troublesome， 我们看到第9格的答案 ，troublesome， 就是 trouble 加上 some 合在一起的，请同学们注意一下它的重音 ，troublesome，trouble 本来是名词，对不对？好，加上 some， 但是我们说很困扰的，很令人困扰的，你可以变成一个形容词。那形容词之后就是加上一个 some，troublesome times in my life, there was only one set of footprints. 上帝啊，你说你会陪我走，可是在我人生最低潮的时候，怎么只有一副脚印呢？ I don't understand. 他说我实在是不明白。I don't understand. 后面就是一个子句，对不对？ I don't understand. 你不明白的事情就摆在这里。Why? 我不明白为什么。I don't understand why. When I needed you most, you would leave me. When I needed you most. 当我最需要你的时候，你居然离开我了。Okay? 所以他 question to God about it. The Lord replied. 上帝怎么回答呢？同学们想不想知道啊？ OK, 上帝说了 My precious, precious child. 我最亲爱亲爱的孩子 OK 不是只有一次哦，他说 My precious, precious child 表示你是很珍贵的。圣经说我们是上帝眼中的瞳人，瞳人是很珍贵的。I love you 他说我很爱你 And I would never leave you 他说我永远都不会遗弃你。那怎么会只有一个人的脚印呢？那是怎么回事呢？他说了 During your times of trial and suffering， 好，我们看到第10题的答案叫 trial T-R-I-A-L 这个字是从 try 变来的，然后 trial 就是试探，当你炼入那种试炼就是熬炼，就是煎熬的意思 OK When you are in the times of trial and suffering Suffering 是痛苦，就是当你在这种痛苦的时候When you saw only one set of footprints 当你只有看到一个人的脚印的时候，是怎么回事呢？那谁的脚印啊？ It was then that I carried you 是我背着你走啊，所以那个脚印是我的，不是你的 OK 这样懂吗？这么困难的时候你是承受不起的，所以上帝就把你背起来走了，不是遗弃你 OK 好，接下来我们来看一下 Culture Tips
It's interesting how much we look back at our lives when we reach about middle age. I suppose it's because we actually have a good amount of years to look back on. A film director once said, I wouldn't recommend growing old. Your whole body falls apart. It's terrible. But what can you do but keep moving forward or looking forward? And it's difficult sometimes to do that without looking back. I remember a psychology teacher telling me years ago that people look back because they aren't getting anywhere with their lives. And that could be true, but sometimes you have to take a step backward before you can take a step forward. Of course, if you do that enough times, you'll be dancing. But I think if we were moving forward all the time, we would only see what was in front of us, and there's a whole world out there. But it's a nation's faith that helps keep it moving forward. The U.S. is a country that was founded on religious freedom after all, and I think that this freedom has allowed us to be positive and productive. But I think in the U.S. we often get too caught up in the idea of always moving forward with our lives. Maybe it's because we're such a young country, or maybe it's because we're usually expected to be at the forefront of ideas, items like technology or the environment or human rights. It's hard to imagine where we were 200 years ago without freedom, independence, and hairdryers.
OK 又到了我们 Words in Use 的时间了，我们首先来看第一句 Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. OK 这个句子里面有2个字，我们首先看第一个 flashed 这个 flash 就是很快的闪过，叫 flashed。OK， 那另外一个字叫 scenes， 就是一幕一幕的这种景象，叫 scenes。请同学们要注意发音 ，c 是不发音的。那这个句子呢 ，across the sky， 你看它以介系词开始 ，across the sky flash scenes from his life。我们还可以怎么做呢 ？OK， 我们可以说 scenes from his life， 这整句就可以拿来当主词 ，flashed across the sky。OK， 那这里是 across the sky，flash scenes from his life， 它是特别强调说划过天空，所以他把它提到前面来。但是同学们可以把 scenes from his life， 就是他生命当中的每一幕的景象，在天空很快速的闪过。你可以把 across the sky 跟 scenes from his life 对调 ，OK， 就会变成 scenes from his life flashed across the sky， 是这样的用法，这样清楚吗？好，我们看下一句。For each scene, he noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. 好，这里有几个字，我们看一下。第一句是 noticed，OK， 原型是 notice，N-O-T-I-C-E， 这个字可以当动词，也可以当名词。当名词的时候，你就会看到很多人写注意什么公告 notice，OK， 当名词用。那在这里加上 d， 显然就是当动词，对不对？我注意到什么了 ？He noticed 2 sets of footprints。好，注意一下脚印，脚印是 footprints， 请注意哦，它不是 feet。我知道你，因为你的脚印一定是2只，但是2副脚印不是叫 feet。Prints，OK， 它还是叫单数的 footprints。好，那这是2个字合在一起的，一个是 foot， 一个是 print。print 就是像那个印出来，对不对？叫 print。printer 就是列表机嘛，对不对？那是2个字的这种 compound words。footprints 中音会放在前面。那同学们再注意一下这个字的发音，因为它 t 后面跟着 p。foot 本来是 t， 那后面又print， 它是2个子音在一起，所以当你合在一起的时候，千万不要每个字都很想要念清楚，不要念成 footprints。OK， 这里是 foot， 那个 t 就清掉了 ，footprints。好，会念吗？我们再听一次 footprints， 不要念成 footprints。好 ，footprints， 特别注意一下发音。OK， 那下一个字叫 belong to。就是属于什么人的，比方说这本书是属于我的 ，This book belongs to me，OK，and this seat belongs to me， 这是谁的？这是属于谁的 ？To 后面就是那个所有、拥有的人。好 ，This book， 那你被拥有的东西写在前面，比方说 This house belongs to me， 这栋豪宅是我的 ，OK，This house belongs to me， 这样这3个字的用法清楚吗？好，我们看下一句。He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times of his life. Okay, sad 这里有一个字叫悲伤的 sad。那 sad 因为是单音节是子音、母音、子音，那比较特别的是它要变成最高级的时候，一定要重复一个 d sad，saddest。OK。同学们不要看到2个 d， 为什么我们选这个字出来讲？不是因为它的意思，这个意思大家国中都学过了，没什么好讲。但是因为它的发音，很多同学看到2个 d 就会很想念2个字，都把它念出来 saddest， 这样就不对了。好，我们这一课一直很强调同学们有一些子音的发音要让它修饰的漂亮一点 ，saddest， 不是 saddest，OK，saddest。好，再念一次。Saddest，OK， saddest times in his life。好，英文要这样念才会抑扬顿挫。好，就是最悲伤的时候。好，我们看下一句。During your times of trial and suffering, when you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. OK， 这里有几个字，我们看一下。Trial，T-R-I-A-L，OK。Trial 就是你的试炼、你的熬炼、你的磨难 ，OK？Trial，T-R-I-A-L， 它从这个声音，同学们有没有想到哪一个字 ？Try， 对，试试看。One more try, one more try, one more try, you will reach the sky. Try， 试试看那个字来的，一试再试，就是试探、试炼。好，那变成名词 trial， 就是磨难。在你经过磨难、试炼的时候，还有一个字叫 suffering。suffering 这个字的动词叫 suffer。OK，S-U-F-F-E-R 是动词，那它变成名词的时候呢，它跟那个 trial 不一样啊，它不是 suffering， 它不是加 I-A-L 变成名词，它是加 ing suffering。所以这里的 suffering 不是现在进行式哦，它是变成名词。所以 during your times of trial and suffering， 就是你在困难、磨难、受苦受难的时候呢。It was then that I carried you. Carry 这个字也是我们今天 Be English 出现的这个字，有没有？我们今天 Be English 不是出现了吗？ Carry Lisa carry calls to Newcastle， 有没有？我们今天 Be English 出现的动词就是这个字 carry。 carry 本来就是扛着、肩挑什么、扛着什么、运送什么东西 OK， 就是动词 carry， 但是它的过去式是 C-A-R-R-I-E-D。Be English. Lisa carried calls to Newcastle. A. Lisa 把梅运到纽卡斯去了。B. Lisa 多此一举。今天 Be English 题目是 Lisa carried calls to Newcastle。那请同学们翻译。那有两个选项，第一个就是说 Lisa 把梅运到纽卡斯，就是 Newcastle 的翻译 OK。Lisa 把梅运到 Newcastle 去了。那 B 呢是 Lisa 多此一举。那很多同学按照字面上的翻译就会选择 A， 你刚才是不是选 A 呢？哦 OK bingo 中奖。选 A 通常都不是答案 OK， 同学们要记住，我们设计 Be English 的题目的时候，通常就是同学们很容易犯错的，因为你按照字面上的意思来看， Lisa carry 就是运马搬嘛，对不对？ Calls C-O-A-L-S 是梅，那去哪里，对不对？ Newcastle， 所以按照字面的翻译 A 完全正确。 Lisa carry calls to Newcastle 就是说 Lisa 把梅运到纽卡斯去了，但是这个不是正确答案 OK， 如果这么简单，我们干嘛放在 Be English 呢？对不对？ Be English 要打败英文，那如果按照字面上这样翻译，就没有打败它了，是被它打败了。所以答案是 B。 什么意思呢？居然是叫多此一举。你有没有觉得英文很有趣啊？从字面上你完全看不到多此一举的意思，但是英文的多此一举就是这么说的。为什么把梅运到 Newcastle 叫多此一举呢？好，这个就牵涉到一些历史地理，同学们要有一些文化知识哦。Newcastle 是在英国，那它是产煤的中心，它盛产煤矿。那你把煤又运到产煤的地，那不是多此一举吗？对不对？就像人家产金子的，比如说以前的金瓜石是产金子的，你还把金子运到金瓜石去，那不是多此一举是什么呢？对不对？那渔港人家本来就生产鱼了，你还把鱼运到那个卖鱼的地方去，所以是衍生